A quiet corner of Baden-Württemberg in southern Germany. But appearances are deceiving. The state is an important center of German industry. Baden-Württemberg has more global market leaders than any other German state. Mid-sized companies based here sell their products all over the world. Ziel Abeck, for example, specializes in ventilator units. They're exported to all corners of the planet, including to the US, where they can be found installed in structures from residential buildings to data centers. What will happen if Donald Trump makes good on his protectionist campaign rhetoric? How will that affect German exports to the US? CEO Peter Frenkel is concerned.
The protectionism that Mr. Trump has promised would, of course, have a significant impact on economic activity and presumably also on our business relationship with the U.S. We assume that the punitive tariffs wouldn't apply only to Mexico and China, but would also eventually affect the European market and our activities in North America.
The ventilator blades incorporate elements based on the wings of an owl. The serrated edges reduce air resistance and allow the units to operate more quietly. More than 2/3 of them go to the US. Each unit is more than 1 meter in diameter and is cast out of aluminum. It's a complex manufacturing process.
We developed and implemented the process over years in collaboration with our suppliers.
Ziel Abeck also has a plant in the US, but that facility isn't able to produce all of the different necessary components. Many still have to be imported from Germany. Punitive tariffs would make those parts more expensive. But the company's CEO believes that any protectionist barriers would eventually backfire against the US.
The issue with Mr. Trump is that it's hard to know exactly what his intentions are, but protectionism or tightening borders or instituting higher protective tariffs, that serves only to create a kind of comfort zone for your own economy. Then your companies no longer have to work as hard to be competitive on the global market. Over the mid or long term, that tends to significantly weaken the economy. This has been demonstrated many times throughout history. Protectionism is only useful as a short-term instrument to win over potential voters.
It's still uncertain what trade strategy Donald Trump will actually pursue. For German companies that market to the US, long-term planning has now become more difficult. Hornschuch is another company based in Baden-Württemberg that exports around the world. Their products include artificial leathers used in the automotive industry. This cream-colored artificial leather, for example, is used by Mercedes. Founded more than 100 years ago, today Hornschuch is the global market leader in artificial leather, film, and coated textile production. 1/4 of its profits come from the US. CEO Hans-Hinrich Kruse is taking a wait-and-see approach.
Germany benefits from global free trade. Germany has always sought to remain competitive within a system with few barriers. That's definitely the better course over the long term. For the moment, it's impossible to say whether we'll be dealing with protectionist tendencies or whether actual protectionist policies will be implemented.
Hornschuch also has a production facility in the US. The company invested 40 million euros to build it and created jobs. But activities at the US facility don't require the same level of technological expertise. For example, this durable plastic foil used in automotive manufacturing can't be produced there.
The world is interconnected, and that won't change anytime soon. Some industries are meanwhile concentrated in specific regions. Given the huge sums that have been invested in those industries, moving them elsewhere would be difficult.
Donald Trump has injected a new note of unpredictability into the global economy, and German companies will also feel the impact.